Good morning, 7th and 8th grade. I hope your week is going well. Hopefully you're able to get on here easily, and we're going to get started with lesson 16, so we're backtracking just a little bit. Lesson 16 is talking about the U.S. customary system. So turn in your textbooks to page 98 so you can follow along. So one of the characteristics of civilization is the use of an agreed upon system of measurement. So the fair exchange of goods and services requires consistent uses of weight, volume, and length. It is necessary for a standard system of measurement because if we did not measure by the same standards, nothing would really make sense. If $1 to me was 10 cents to you, we would never have a fair exchange of something. If someone thought that 1,000 pounds was the same as the weight of 1,000 feathers, we would get a lot of things mixed up. If someone thinks 1 foot is the same as 1 inch, our houses that we build would be very cattywampus. Nothing would make sense. So it's important that we understand this customary system. So there are 2 types of measurement systems in the U.S. Traditionally, we would use units such as feet, gallons, pounds, that sort of thing. This is the U.S. customary system, and that is what we use here for the most part. There is a secondary system used, and it's used by most other countries in the world, and sometimes it's used in the U.S. That's the international system of units, or the metric system. So we have the customary system or the metric system. Hopefully you've heard of both of those. The metric system would use meters, liters, kilograms, whereas we use the customary system of feet, gallons, and pounds, and so on and so forth. So we are going to be talking about both systems of measurement over the next few lessons. Today we're talking about the U.S. customary system. We can measure many characteristics of objects, including their dimensions, their weight, their volume, and their temperature. Each type of measurement has a set of units. We should remember equivalent measures and have a feel for the units so that we can estimate measures reasonably. So let's start by looking at this unit of weight. Ounces to pounds, pounds to tons. So this following table shows the common weight equivalencies in the U.S. customary system. This is units of weight. This is measuring how much something weighs. So there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. There are 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. So somebody asks you how many pounds are in a ton, you would say 1,000 or 2,000. If someone asked how many ounces were in a pound, there's 16. So an example of how we would use this in a math problem. A half-ton pickup truck can carry a load of a half of a ton. What is the load capacity in pounds of a half-ton pickup truck? So the problem is talking about tons, but we're trying to figure out how many pounds make up a half of 1 ton. We know that 1 ton is 2,000 pounds, so half of that is 1,000 pounds. A half ton is 1,000 pounds. So let's move on to units of length. Okay, so again, this is the U.S. customary system, units of length. We have 12 inches in a foot. Hopefully you know that. There are 3 feet in every yard. There are 1,760 yards in a mile. Okay, and then there's 5,280 feet in a mile. So just take a look at those, try to familiarize yourself with those. Example here is 1 yard is how many inches. So if you look here, we know that 1 yard is the same as 3 feet. So then we need to figure out how many inches are in 1 yard. So let's look here. A yard is equal to 3 feet, right here, and there are 12 inches in each of those feet. So let's multiply 3 times 12. We would find that there are 36 inches in a yard. Okay, so here's an example of estimating how long something might be. So a mountain bike, is the example, is about how many feet long. So just try to picture a mountain bike in your head, and we are trying to develop a feel for various units of measure. So a mountain bike would typically be about 5.5 feet long. Typically, if a full adult-sized adult would lay down beside a bike, they would be taller than it or longer than it. So good estimate would be about 5 to 6 feet. So it's just an idea of how to estimate how long something is. Okay, so let's look at liquid measurements. So just as an inch ruler is divided successfully in half, think of that inch ruler, right? If there's an inch, you've got a half inch, you have a quarter inch. As it's divided in half, there's an 1/8 inch and a 1/16 inch, and so on. It's divided in half. The same can happen for liquid measurement. So half of a gallon is a half gallon. 1/2 of a half gallon is a quart. A half of a quart is a pint. So how many pints would be in a quart? 2. 2 of these makes a quart. 2 quarts makes a half gallon. 2 half gallons make 1 gallon. Right? So these can continue to split in half, and again, half of a pint is 1 cup. So a way that I learned to remember this is to draw a picture. So if you guys could, maybe in a notebook somewhere, draw this as well. You have your gallon. So draw a G for gallon. Hopefully you can see that. And then we're going to draw our quarts in there. So we're going to skip the half gallon. There are 4 quarts in every gallon. 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are Q's for quarts. There are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Okay. Then we're going to go to pints, because half of a quart is a pint. There are 2 pints in every single quart. So let's draw our pints in there. Try to make the hole in the P as big as possible. Okay. So there are 2 pints in 1 quart. So then how many pints are in the gallon? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Then we have cups. Half of a pint is a cup. So there's 2 cups in every pint. So just make 2 little C's inside your P there. So there's 2 cups in every pint. So then how many cups are in a quart? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 cups in that quart. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 cups in that quart. Right? So if you needed to figure out how many cups were in a gallon, you would take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and you would go on like that. So you can always refer back to this picture or draw it if it helps you to remember those conversions. So we should be on page 100 now. So the capacity of each of these containers is half the capacity of the next largest container. So looking at this table, there's an example of those liquid measurements. So 8 ounces in a cup. There's 2 cups in every pint, which remember we just showed. 2 cups in a pint. There are 2 pints in a quart. Remember our picture. 2 pints in a quart. And there are 4 quarts in the gallon. You can remember that from the picture as well. We have this chart or the picture. So let's use an example here. Steve always drinks at least 8 cups of water every day. How many quarts did he drink? So if you look at our chart here, we're talking about cups, but we need to find how many quarts he drank, right? And they're not necessarily connected, so we're going to have to do a little bit of work here. So he drinks 8 cups of water a day. Well, we know that 2 cups is the same as a pint, right? 2 cups is a pint. There's 2 little C's inside the P. So if he's drinking 8 cups, that would be the same as 4 pints, right? Let's look back at our picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 cups, and that would include how many pints? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 8 cups is equal to 4 pints. So if 2 pints equal the quart, I don't need to rewrite that. If there's 2 pints in every quart, how many pints do we have right now? 4. So 2 pints is 1 quart, so we'd have 1 quart plus, if we take minus 2 out of that, we'd have 2 left. 2 pints in a quart, right? So 8 cups would be equal to 2 quarts. Or, if you flip back here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You could count it as well. We're talking about drinking 8 cups of waters, and how many quarts did that make? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 quarts. Let's move on to measuring temperature. So down here we have a diagram of the Fahrenheit temperature scale. Okay, and so 212 degrees is where water boils, 32 degrees is where it freezes. This is your normal body temp at 98.6, and then 68 degrees is kind of like a normal room temperature. So how many Fahrenheit degrees are between freezing and boiling temperature? Well, you just take the degree Fahrenheit that the water is boiling at minus the temperature that water freezes, and you would find 180 degrees. Okay, that's it for the lesson. At this point, I would like you to go ahead and start the practice set. It's page 101. 101. Zany, are you paying attention? Page 101 for the practice set. Do A through H. Your teacher should have the answers if you need them. A through H practice set. Over here in your book is this drawing as well, the gallon, 4 quarts, 2 pints per quart, or 2 cups per pint, if you need to reference that. After you finish that practice set, you can start your homework. Your homework is the problem set for lesson 16. So we're still on page 101. I'll write that down. And we're doing numbers 1 through 10 and numbers 28, 29, and 30. So if you could grab your planner and write that in right now, that would be great. Page 101, numbers 1 through 10, 28, 29, and 30. And this is due Friday, and your teacher will be checking to make sure it's done, and then you can work together on Friday to correct anything that was wrong. Okay, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you guys on Monday.